We value your support. As part of our dedication to social justice, we provide a free consultation to evaluate the merits of your labor dispute. Please feel free to contact us. In this video, I will explain the distinction between insubordination and insolence, and under what circumstances such misconduct would generally warrant dismissal. Insubordination in the workplace generally refers to disregarding an employer's authority or lawful and reasonable instructions. It occurs when an employee refuses to accept the authority of a person in a position of authority over them and, as such, is misconduct because it assumes a calculated breach by the employee of the obligation to adhere to and comply with the employer's lawful authority. It includes an employee's severe and willful refusal to adhere to a lawful and reasonable employer's instruction and conduct, which poses a severe and deliberate challenge to the employer's authority even when instructions have not been given. There is a difference between an employee who partially defies an instruction but later entirely complies with it and an employee who deliberately refuses to obey an instruction, expressly defying an instruction and challenging the employer's authority, especially in the presence of other employees. The Labor Court has held that the cumulative effect of a series of acts of insubordination and the lack of any acceptance by such an employee of the seriousness of such actions or admission of any fault by the employee, the absence of any indication of regret, which may indicate a willingness to conform and comply with reasonable instructions in the future, and such an employee's distrust of seniors would weigh heavily against a sanction short of dismissal. As stated more directly, such circumstances would warrant the dismissal of the employee, as there is no reason why an employer is obliged to tolerate an employee who always prefers to march to the beat of their own drum. Such circumstances amount to sufficiently serious and deliberate insubordination, which constitutes gross misconduct and justifies dismissal. The difference between insubordination and gross insubordination is a question of degree. It is generally justifiable for an employer to dismiss an employee for refusing safety-related instructions, which would generally be considered gross insubordination. The test for insubordination is not whether the instructions fall within an employee's job description, but rather whether the instructions are reasonable and lawful. Should it be shown that the instruction was unlawful, the inquiry would end there. However, if it is found that the instruction was lawful, the expectation is that the employee to whom such an instruction is issued should comply. It will have little to do with whether the instruction is related to the employee's job description, because it will never justify an employee to refuse lawful instructions merely because the instructions are not his or her direct function. What is the difference between insolence and insubordination? There is a fine line between insubordination and insolence. Insolence is conduct that is offensive, disrespectful in speech or behavior, impudent, cheeky, rude, insulting, or contemptuous, while insolence may become insubordination where there is an outright challenge to the employer's authority. Acts of mere insolence and insubordination do not justify dismissal unless severe and willful. The sanction of dismissal is reserved for instances of gross disrespect and insubordination or the willful flouting of the employer's instructions. This knowledge empowers you to make informed decisions in the workplace. An inquiry into the gravity of insubordination considers three aspects: the action of the employer before the deed, the reasonableness of the instruction, and the presence of willfulness by the employee. To the extent that insubordination involves a defiance of authority, such a defiance can be proven by a single act of defiance. Moreover, the employer's prerogative to command its subordinates is the principle protected by the class of misconduct called insubordination. It addresses the organization's operational requirements to ensure that managerial paralysis does not occur. Thank you for subscribing. We look forward to seeing you in our next video. Stay informed.